Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's Chamber Check-in time. And today I'm with Ron Baker. He's the founder of Rizen Creative. Rizen Creative is a marketing and design agency that's helping their clients. They have a tagline that reads, "Helping underdogs win." Hi, Ron.
How's it going?
Good. Hey, before we get to our conversation, I get to
All right.
thank our series sponsor for these check-ins. It's Delta Dental of Idaho. Ron, Delta Dental of Idaho, they've been providing dental insurance benefits to Idahoans for over 50 years. Their benefits are designed and they're backed by the largest network of dentists in the country. And I get to share one of their fun factoids from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
One of the benefits to employees in having a good dental plan is that 78% of people are more likely to go in for their preventive and restorative type services. Annual dental checkups is part of prevention. People that have dental benefits are 40% more likely to schedule their routine cleaning. Preventive is so important. It keeps your mouth healthy and it keeps your overall body healthy too.
Thank you, Delta Dental. I was at my dentist today. Anyway, Ron Baker, I wanted, this is so cool to me. We've known each other for a long time. We've been a part of different things over the years. And I love your tagline, helping underdogs win. You know, Ron, I always root for the underdog, even if it's my team that's ahead. I always kind of want to see that other person get up closer. It's a better game. It's a better story. So tell us about underdogs winning.
Fair enough. Yeah. It's a tagline that our company really, it's more than a tagline. It's a philosophy or a belief system, if you will. And to me, we've been using that tagline for, I want to say, the better part of, we've been around for 19 years. We've probably been using that philosophy for at least 15 of those 19 years. And what it really means is simply, that we like to engage with people that are offensive minded versus defensive minded. The kinds of people that really want to make a change, or they really want to challenge whatever their outcome is. And so giving us an opportunity to be able to work with people like that isn't just get in line and do what everybody else does, but maybe do something that's a little bit more different, a little bit to the left versus to the right, or vice versa, is critical in our opinion, because I think that we find that we get some of the best clients that way. And it's not just about the clients. It has nothing to do with size. So when we say underdog, it doesn't mean that it's a company that has maybe 7 or 8 employees. It could be a company that has 7 or 8,000 employees. So it's less about their scale of size and more about their mindset and their position, frankly, in the market space, whether it be a number 2 or a number 3. They're the underdog that are always kind of aiming for that number 1. And so we love that attitude in clients when we get a chance to engage with that type of a person or that type of a company.
I love it. I love it. When you're back up against the ropes, that fight that coming out and you come on top, those are the best stories. Yeah. Hey, these chamber check-ins are also designed to share a little bit about the origin of our chamber member businesses. So why don't you take us back to the beginning? When did you get your start and how?
Sure. Yeah. Well, that depends on how far back you want to go. I mean, but I will say that, for me, I grew up in a household that was creative. I have a lot to thank for my mom and her ability to see the world in a very creative way. And whether I realized it or not, I never expected to have a career in it. But, I still look back on a lot of those engagements or a lot of those things and that I've learned from her. And it really, I think, instilled a foundation that put me in a position to get on track to do what I do. And I've been doing this for almost 30 years now, which is kind of shocking. Yes, I still have all my hair. I still feel young. I still love getting out of bed every morning and doing what I do. But it started at home, and then from there, it evolved, and I made a conscious decision after doing some soul searching through my various things in school. I still have a standout teacher. I always think that it's cool to do these interviews, and I will say that the likelihood of anyone out there knowing this gentleman might be slim, but I will say that Alan Stafford, he was my teacher at Fairmont Junior High back in 1982, 83. And what I remember about this guy was that he was a pivot tool for me. Your family always tells you, oh, you're really good at this, or you play that instrument so extraordinarily well. But then you have a teacher that gives you that third party endorsement, that sense of saying, wow, you really have a gift here, or you have something that you should really pursue in this. And, Alan Stafford to me is still a name that I will carry with me to the end, because I'm grateful for him. He really inspired me to consider the route that I took. So fast forward a number of years, going off to art school in Seattle, digging in my heels and learning everything I could, and being that that student that probably annoyed every instructor that I had, because I stuck around and asked lots of questions. To working for K2, I worked for the K2 Ski Corporation while I was attending art school. Learning everything I could in that space, which was wonderful. I ended up being in their design department at the end of my time there when I was finishing up school, to returning to Boise in 1993. And from there, I've been here ever since. It's been a fun career. I've learned a lot through the agencies that I've worked for. I worked for Albertsons. Then I worked for Davies and Rourke, an agency that merged with another agency here in town. Working for a company called Digital Effects, learning all about multimedia and digital. At a time when digital was almost an unheard of word, we were still kind of playing in this interactive CD space. To Stoltz Marketing Group, and then on to starting Rizen in 2002. To your point of the origin story. You may ask, what's with the name? I always get that question asked of me with new clients that walk into my office. And I would love to say that it's a really, really cool and sexy story, but, I will say this about it. Paul knows me, and he will tell you that I'm a pretty humble guy. I hate to admit that because that almost sounds a little bit tacky, but what I will say is that, when I was trying to come up with a name for this company, my harshest critics were all my close friends. Everything that I put out on the table was absolutely shot down. And in the end, the lawyer continued to press and say, look, we need something to file with the state of Idaho. And I said, well, I want it to be about my name, but I'm really not one of those people that believes that your name should sit at the top. Let the work speak for itself, not the person that drives it. And so I went with something that seemed relevant to the last name Baker. And what does a baker do? He bakes bread. What does bread do? Well, it rises. And I'm like, bingo, throw in get rid of the S, throw in a Z, and call it a day. There it is. It's not sexy, like I said, but it's still an origin story. So take it for what it's worth.
I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that with me today. I didn't know the Baker story.
There it is.
Cool. All right. Relationships. So I've known you for a long time from Little League, and I've always been impressed by the creativity. You elevate the cool factor and the quality of work you've done for your clients, and the Little League for that matter. Share with me some of the work that you're most proud of, Ron.
Oh, wow. It's going back as far as almost the beginning. There have been so many incredible people over the years with this company that I am grateful for, and more importantly, their trust in allowing us to do the work that we do. I will say that one of my prouder moments, and everything that I share with you is a result of a team. It isn't just me. It's all the people that have laid the foundation of what Rizen is today. So many people that have come and gone. That I'm so grateful for. But, when I look back on it, Boise Convention and Visitors Bureau, for instance, one of my fondest clients over the years, we don't work together any longer, but what I will say is that my time with them was extraordinary, in that I got to see them through a lot of ups and downs as an organization. I got to see them fight through a lot of challenges. But what they entrusted us as a company with was the opportunity to reinvent them. And so when the day came for us to actually work together, it was ironic. they wanted us to respond to an RFP, and we always used to joke in the past about hating RFPs. So anyone that knows
Another term
Ron,
you used for that.
yeah, anyone that knows me or has been had seen me speak about this very topic up in McCall some time ago, um, I'm not a fan. I think that it has a tendency to. I'm getting off track a little bit, Paul. I'll hurry up with the story, but my point would be that what they allowed us to do, we went in, we did the RFP as they had requested, but we did something completely different, and that was we did research. We figured out what they were, what they stood for, and we didn't ask them. We asked people that didn't know anything about or what their impressions of Boise were. So, and it speaks a lot to our process. But in the end, we came up with the Boise is campaign that you've seen in the past, and I think that it really was an anchor to where they've evolved. And Carrie and her team are extraordinary people, and I think that it's an amazing organization. So I was grateful for that in terms of promoting the city. We've done branding throughout the Treasure Valley, like Jump, for instance, even the Boise Center, we did their branding, the Grove Hotel, Flatbread, a number of other restaurants in town. The list goes on. And I will say that it's less about the end result and it's more about what it took to get there. So it's not about the shiny finish, but it's more about what was that path to getting there. And to me, I named a few, but to me, what's most important is that relationship, as you kind of started out this point with. And I couldn't be prouder for the work that we have done, but more importantly, prouder of the people that I've worked with.
Well, and that's a good segue into kind of our testimonial. You did some work with the chamber, and you developed our brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to say is what I liked about your process, and you said it already, but that time that you spent learning about our key missions, our initiatives, to create a solution that met us where we were at. You've already expanded on that process, but I think it's, we talked about this before, and it's how a brand makes you feel. I'm wearing a button today, and it's Smokey the Bear. And, just to be thinking about wildfires and how only you can prevent wildfires, right? Brands, they make you feel. There's something about them that that maybe means quality, or you remember something about it with the Smokey the Bear. Tell me more about branding and how that's so important.
Yeah, well, I think that to use your own organization as an example, branding. I always like to say to my clients that as much as I love them, as much as I love their opinions, I'm more interested in the opinions of those that actually engage those brands, because you don't own your brand, believe it or not. You are a steward to your brand, but your audience owns your brand, your customers own your brand. The people that stand by you, the people that defend you, the people that believe in you, they really are the owners of your brand. And so you have a responsibility to those individuals to make sure that they understand that you're going to do everything you can to carry that brand. And so, to your point, in process, we ask lots of questions. I don't pretend to be an expert when it comes to chamber business, but what I got to do was I got to learn through the organization, and more importantly, a lot of its constituents, to determine where we ended up. And I will say this, and it's a huge shout out to Bill. Not to plug Bill in this way, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I believe in simplicity. The quicker you can tell your story, the better. And one of the things that we really worked on was having a good hard look at the name of your organization. And for those out there that may notice, there's a word missing from what it used to be, and that is the word commerce. And it's not that it's not an important word, but the bottom line is that when you need to appeal to so many, simplify your message so you can get to the heart of your story. And I think that what your organization did was they trusted us, and they gave us the ability to show them the way in which we thought would be a better serving brand. And I'm grateful for it. And I'm grateful for the outcome of it, because I think that, a logo doesn't make a company, the people make the company. But if you stand behind that logo, that brand, that theory, that story, that attitude, the language, all those things are relevant to brand. So, when we put that moniker on, it was simply a recognition of the things that make the chamber what it is. So, gosh, I wish I could give more. I know you don't have a lot of time here, but I will just say that it was a thrill to work with it. And lastly, the people that we did actually engage with, there was only one person from the chamber that participated. We engaged all our community members because we really wanted the truth, and we got it. Anyway.
That's awesome. Hey, that's a great segue into talking about your services and what you do. And I kind of wanted to tie it all together. So in the origin, the very beginning of Rizen Creative, tell me like 2 or 3 things that you guys offered your clients. And then now with 3 generations of workforce that we're working with, what are the agency insights that you have that you see it's trending now for your clients? If you could wrap it up like that.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think that, I could certainly give you a laundry list of specifics. I think that the big picture still remains the same, though, since day one. In 19 years of doing this work, it's still about making sure that we unearth the right story. What is it that a customer is trying to say, or a client is trying to say? And so with that, I think obviously digital has played a huge role in all of that. I mean, there's so much more in that. I started with a flip phone when I started this company, which, makes me feel a little bit, not old, but certainly, evolved. And Paul, I would love to carry on that conversation a little bit deeper, but I know you've got a short time here. And so I will just say that, while a lot has changed, a lot has stayed the same too.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Anything else?
Like to educate your listeners, the listeners on today, like, your community involvement or what would you like to say while we have you for a few more minutes?
I would say that, I when it comes to community involvement, we have made it an effort to really stand by that underdog component. I've sponsored Little League for the last 17 years. The majority of those years I spent actually umpiring on behalf of that league. So don't even get me started about that. But that was an interesting career choice or a sub-career choice. Working with our public education system, helping contribute money to art and education through a Christmas card program that you would think creative people want to make their own Christmas cards. And sure, we could, but the bottom line is we would rather give money to schools to buy art supplies through a program where kids could compete and get their cards printed. It was really cool. To helping, our latest project, which is Boise Entrepreneur Week. I couldn't be more thrilled to be working with Trailhead and their folks and helping brand and develop some of the new look that event will unveil here in the next couple months. And so, and I would leave you with just one quote, if you might. Can you indulge me? So
Bring it.
All right. Because I keep thinking about this, and I think that this quote really sticks for me as it relates to this whole topic of branding and the importance of brand. And Maya Angelou, this, may sound a bit cliche, everybody knows a good Maya Angelou quote, but, the one that always has resonated with me, and I think it still holds true to this day. And, she said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how they made you feel." And so when you think about that, it really is part and parcel to the premise of what a brand should be. A brand has to hold its truth through how it makes you feel. It isn't just about what it looks like, and it's just not about how you carry yourself. But, if you can trust a brand, how it makes you feel is mission critical. So again, maybe that'd be a little bit overly romantic, but nonetheless, that's what it is. It's something I believe in. And anyway. What else can I tell you?
No, that's great. Thank you for your continued investment in the chamber. And if there's anybody listening that's looking to elevate their brand, provide some high quality content, heck, get their website redesigned, give Ron and their team a call. They're experts, they're cool, and they'll come and learn more about your brand than you ever knew in the beginning. So thanks for your time today, Ron.
It was my pleasure, Paul, and thank you. And thank you to the chamber for putting this on. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Hey, have a great Labor Day weekend. Say hi to the kids for me. I'll see you on the ball field, okay?
Sounds great.